Hello, my name's Jon LaLanne from LaLanneSurf.com. I've changed people's lives with my lessons. And every time I look around, I see instructors not doing it. That's why I'm here for you today. I'm also an ex-pro. I surfed the Budweiser Pro Tour from 1987 to 1988, and I was the undefeated captain of the Pepperdine surf team in the NSSA. I'm also a surfboard builder and a surfboard shaper. What you're going to learn in this video is going to be invaluable. You're going to learn how to enter the water safely, how to put your leash on, how to paddle properly, how to sit, how to spin, and how to catch your first wave. But you can't catch your first wave unless you learn the aforementioned correctly. You don't want to get into bad habits because bad habits are hard to break. Here's what you need to start on. You need a bigger board. A 9-foot board by 22 inches wide by 3 inches thick is the ideal board for most beginners. It's called a longboard. And you need the stability, you need the paddling power, because surfing is a very physically demanding sport, and you need something that's going to paddle well, float you well, and be stable enough so you can practice the maneuvers I'm going to show you. Always apply the leash to the back foot. If you are goofy foot with your right foot forward, you want to apply the leash to your left foot. If you're regular foot with your left foot forward, you want to apply the leash to your right foot. Make sure the leash is away and pointing off the side of your ankle and not getting wrapped up around your toes and feet. First of all, we're going to enter the water. The board should be gripped properly. This is going to be your permanent grip for the rest of your surfing career. You want to take your thumbs up, put your fingers out, and then point your palms. This will allow you to grab the rails of the board. The board will be placed on the side of you, and we're going to be walking out to the surf, lifting our feet and floating on top of the waves that are coming at us. It's called the walking float. To make sure your arms are locked, your palms are down on the deck of the board, and your fingers are wrapped under the board, and your thumbs are pointing on the deck. That's the best way to grip a surfboard. That's the only way to grip a surfboard. When you're spinning your board, when you're laying down on your board, when you're popping up on your board, almost everything you do requires this grip. The board never goes sideways. You always want the tip of the board pointing out to sea or into shore. Never sideways, because a wave can come and knock the board into your head or your face. When you paddle out and you finally sit on your board, your nose will be pointing out to sea so you can see the waves. Rarely do you see surfers paddling sideways. It's only if they're chasing a wave, and that's for advanced students. Paddling is done one arm at a time. You want to be perched on your rib cage and not your chest, with your back arched and your head up. The rib cage takes most of the support. This serves two purposes. One, it allows you some backward motion when you're going over the face of a wave, and also allows you to have your head up to see where the waves are. You don't want to be down and staring at the board. You want your head up, back arched, shoulders together on the rib cage. Your feet position should not be apart. Always, if you look at every good surfer, their feet are always together. If the feet are hanging off the board, this is gonna drag water. It's gonna slow you down. A lot of surfers, the beginners that I've seen, will have their nose up like this because they're scared of the nose going down. You want the board to plane. So what you may think is being too far up on the board, most likely would be the correct position. You want to get your chest and your rib cage up on the board so the board is not pushing water and is planing flat. This could seem very uncomfortable to some beginners, but it's something you're going to have to get used to. The arched back will counteract this force. Turtling is a maneuver we use to get past the waves. If you encounter a wave while you're paddling, you're going to get pushed backwards or most likely off your board. The turtle is an effective way to get through the surf without losing ground. So you're going to grab the rails of your board, you turn your head to the side, breathe out, and you dump yourself over while keeping your body as close to the board as humanly possible. This will help you not lose ground, but actually maybe gain some ground. Water will pass right over the bottom of your board. If you're on top of your board, the wave could rip you off, throw you off, do all sorts of terrible things. And make sure, while you're turtling, have your head to the side and your nose not facing the board, because the board can come right into your nose. Congratulations, you've made it out to the break. You've done your straight arm float, you put your leash on, you've paddled correctly, you've done a turtle, and now you've encountered your first wave because you're sitting on your board with your nose out to the water. Now what do you do when you see that wave coming at you? You need to spin the board around very quickly and very efficiently. This is achieved by these steps. You want to make sure that the nose of the board pops up. So get your weight back towards the tail of the board so the nose is up. By using your legs and kicking and paddling with one arm, you can spin around. So the spin is very important. Sitting, spinning, paddling, all should be practiced in calm water over and over again so they become muscle memory. You should get these down first in calm water, and you'll be more prepared to stand up when the moment comes. The white water, when the wave crashes all at once, the white part of the water is what we're going to be riding as beginners. This is accomplished in waist-deep water, and you can practice these maneuvers on small days. The wave will not catch you, you have to catch the wave. So when you see that white water and you're looking behind you at all times, seeing what the wave is doing, then you start paddling. Your momentum with the wave's momentum will finally get you with the wave. But if you do not paddle, while you're catching the broken part of the wave, the white water, you won't go anywhere. You'll just get bashed around, thrown around like a rag doll. So you want some sort of forward momentum while you're catching the broken part of the wave. The same style that you use paddling out is the same style that you use catching a wave. Before you catch your first waves and start standing up, it's very important that you take maybe a whole day just catching a wave on your stomach, getting the feel of how the board planes. When you take a surf lesson and the surf instructor gets you standing up the first day, he's doing you a huge disservice. You need to get the feel of what the board does in the wave, dropping down. There's a lot of elements that are being missed. Proning is when you're riding the wave on your stomach. That's accomplished by your grip, paddling, and you get on that wave and ride it on your stomach and just feel the wave. Ride it all the way into shore, and this will give you an indication of where the balance points of the board will be to keep it planing. The proper way to stand on your surfboard is not done in broken motions. It needs to be done in one fluid motion, which is called the pop-up. The pop-up is something I'm going to demonstrate, and you should do it 10 times a day to get the muscle memory. Because when you're out in the water, you want that pop-up to become second nature. You have no time for hesitation. So I would recommend for any new surfers to practice 10 pop-ups a day. If you don't do that, you're gonna have a tougher time out in the water. So we're gonna do a pop-up on land. If you can get your feet underneath where your belly button was when you're laying down, you're doing all right. So the pop-up is executed on the floor, on solid ground, grass, carpet, your hardwood floor. But we're gonna pop up in one motion, and we're gonna straddle where our belly button was. A good way to describe the pop-up and where to get your feet is to lay a piece of tape underneath your belly button and try to straddle that piece of tape in one fluid motion. Never put your foot like this, you're losing leverage. The stringer is the centerpiece going down the board. You get leverage on turns by your heels and toes. If your front foot and your back foot are like this, you have no leverage to turn your board. This is incorrect. This is always correct. So let's take what you practiced to the ocean. You've learned the grip. You've learned the straight arm floater. You've learned to paddle, to turtle. Now you're sitting, now you're spinning, you've caught your first wave, you've finally popped up in one motion. How are we gonna stand now? The stance is very important. I've seen so many beginners go on from their instructors to have a terrible stance, and breaking that habit takes twice the time later on. So right now I'm gonna demonstrate to you, the beginner, my student, how to stand properly on a surfboard and how you should do it for the rest of your surfing career. I've taken this from horseback riding, the martial arts. It's having your butt over your heels. You want your head, your shoulder, your butt right over your heels. just like this, like you're sitting in a chair. You want to be very stable. Feet are shoulder width apart, and if you can, knock your knees in. When you knock your knees out from the board, which I see a lot of beginners do, the energy is going off your board, and that's where you don't want it to be. So if you can get your feet shoulder width apart with your butt over your heels and your knees knocked in just a tad and your arms down, you're onto a really, really good style. Style counts. Style is effective. Style is one of the most important things in surfing. Not only does it look better and you look more experienced, but it serves a purpose because it's functional. Also, when you're standing up, a low center of gravity is key. The leash is going to be tugging at your ankle. When you feel that board tugging at your ankle, you know the board is away from you. When you don't feel the board tugging at your ankle, you've got to worry. Where's the board? This is why I devised the 5-second rule. The 5-second rule is when after you fall on a wave, you stay underwater for about 5 seconds, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, gives the board enough time to fly around and do its thing, and you come up with your arms over your face. So when you fall, take your time. Be about 5 seconds underwater. When you start to approach the surface, wave your hand in front of your face to protect the fins, the nose, whatever that may be coming at you from hitting you. Some surfers may be surfing a rocky point, a point break, a reef break. You never want to dive off your board into the water. You don't know what's below you. You always want to fall flat, and you can fall bracing yourself with your hands, and then your face can hit. Try to fall flat instead of deep, and that's very difficult to describe or demonstrate on camera, but if you watch some surfers kick out of the wave, you can see them fall forward, and that's kind of them breaking their fall in the water, falling flat, as opposed to diving below the surface. Congratulations! You're now a surfer. I would suggest you watch these videos over and over again. Please come back anytime. If you watch every single segment, I guarantee you results. If you like what you've seen, please tell me the success stories in the bottom comments below. I'd love to know. And subscribe to my channel. I have more advanced courses coming soon, and I will make you into the surfer that you've always wanted to be. Till then, this has been Jon LaLanne from LaLannesurf.com, and we'll see you in the next video.